Hey there, Warhammer Fantasy fans. Sheeb here with another Fantasy Battle Report. Today we got a 2,000 point a game against Dark Elves and Tomb Kings. This is Game 3 of the tournament I attended. We're going to skip Game 2 because it was much of the same of Game 1. I was facing Dwarves and they had more organ guns and I had to run at him. And it didn't end well. But this game had a little bit different of dynamics. And we'll see how it goes. So let's start off with magic. I have my level 4 Shadow Wizard. So we rolled for spells, and I got the Withering, the Cannonball Shot, the Pit of Shades, and Occam's Mind Razor, which I was pretty happy about. So let's look at the deployment here. So this scenario is a neat scenario. This one we have attackers and defenders, and there is an entrance to a mine that by the end of the game I got to have at least 5 rank and file models in the entrance of the mine. We will show you the entrance in just a second. So here's my list. 2 War Hydras, level 4. I put her in the Dark Shards now. My BSB on a cold one. 41 Corsairs, Executioners, and my Dread Spears. And he has some of his characters not yet deployed on my side of the board. But let's take a look at what he has. Sorry I don't remember all of the characters, but he has 3 of them. So he has unit of archers here, another unit of archers. These guys started off inside the building. Then he has 2 War Sphinxes, which were just beautifully painted, and I am terrified of these because I have 2 Hydras, but I don't know if 2 Hydras can stand up to these things. This napkin is the entrance of the mine. So this is where I need to put my guys by turn 6 if I want to win the bonus objectives. He has some Temple Guard or Tomb Guard, the really elite warriors with Killing Blow, and then he has some regular just warriors. He has one of his priests in here, and then he has his other characters like a noble and a level 4 mage in there. The Casket of Souls, and the Screaming Bell, or the Screaming Skull Catapult. So I get to go first turn. He sat back and shot at me. Didn't kill anything because his archers weren't wounding very well, only hitting on 5s. So I got to go. I move my War Hydras outside on the left flank, trying to go and deal with these archers. As maybe, giving me some options. Maybe I'll deal with the War Sphinx. These guys, the Dark Shards, enter the building with the level 4 Wizard. BSB moves up. Corsairs move up aggressively because they have +1 to movement. And then the Executioners and the Dread Spears move up on the side. In Magic phase, I decided to cast the Pendulum Cannonball Shot towards the War Hydra or the War Sphinx, and I get 2 wounds off. I cast Pit of Shades on his Temple Guard, which he dispels with his Dispel Scroll. Okay, so shooting, managed to kill 3 archers up here, which he's just going to regrow back in his Magic phase. Putting some pressure on me by moving his War Sphinxes up just a little bit to get into position. His Temple Guard and Warriors back up a little bit. He casts... Oh, this is the nasty spell. He casts Incantation of Righteous Smiting, giving them an extra attack. I can't dispel it. I decided to let it go, though. Then he casts his Caress of Laneth. And this thing scares me because I don't want him to snipe my wizard, so I use my Dispel Scroll and burn that. Alright, still waiting for the inevitable conflict to sort of situate itself. His archers do better shooting this time. With that spell gone off, killing 5 of them. Good for him. Sorry about the blurry picture here, but that is not a magical vortex. That is just a template that we left on the table. Alright, so I decided in my turn to make a daring charge with my Corsairs, hoping in the magic phase to get Occam's Mind Razor off. Super risky move because I am just setting myself up for a flank charge, another charge by his Temple Card. It's not going to probably go well if I don't get Occam's off. If I get it off, that could deter him. So we have some candy left over from game 2 that was put on the table. Him getting extra shots. I failed my 2 charges with the Hydras against the archers, so they move up slightly like this. And the wounded War Sphinx is probably going to have an easy charge here next turn. I move my BSB up just a little bit to give them within that 12-inch bubble so that we can have rerolls and make me stick around here in combat if it doesn't go my way and I don't get Occam's off. Turns out I attempt it, And no, he dispel scrolls that. So now I'm stuck here, and I didn't think about him using a dispel scroll. And I don't know if these Corsairs are going to handle a War Sphinx, because there's a lot of guys on top as well as a Thunder Stomp, and he has a breath weapon, which is that template which he puts down, hitting like 13 of them. So he kills a few from the guys on top, kills a few more from the breath weapon, but I make a ridiculous amount of saves. Sorry for the blurry picture here, but yeah, it was pretty sweet. I was so lucky to stick around in combat. And then I kill him. I pop him through the combat res, and I was quite surprised. I did not think that was going to happen. Okay, so I do an overrun because I figured, hey, the safest place these guys to be is in combat, and these guys are, even though they're buffed with the killing blow special rule, I'm risking it, and I am feeling pretty confident at this point. We just killed a War Sphinx, so bring it on. I outnumber these guys 2-1. Let's get this underway. All right, my BSB flees. This War Altar declared a charge on him, forcing him to flee away further, or else he'd take a wound. These guys are setting themselves up for a nice charge here. I believe they both attempted to charge last turn, but failed because it was quite far. Alright, his turn, he charges in. Interesting enough, he didn't go on the flank. He chose to go in the front, and I'm not entirely sure about that. He could have probably beat me with a whole lot of combat res if he had rolled really well and got some good magic buffs off, having that extra flank charge. But I believe he just was too concerned about my executioners and my death spears coming in on his flank. So he probably made the right call. My opponent was a really smart player. He just had some really bad luck. So the War Sphinx makes an easy charge off on a Hydra. The whole game I was forgetting to regrow their wounds, but it's okay. We have a sweet monster fight here, monster on monster. He casts off another incantation, which I do dispel with my dice. He then casts off another spell, and this one manages to go off, giving them killing blow. And here you put it on the Temple Guard, which is killing blow on 5s. So I was pretty concerned at this point. I may have just committed my executioners or my Corsairs to their death. And in the magic phase, he did manage to unleash the casket, doing its bound spell and killing my BSB, which sucked. And these guys managed to pass their leadership roll for panic. All right. There's the casket shooting that nasty spell at him. The Screaming Skull misfired, which I am so happy about because that could really wreak havoc on some of my lines, but it can't shoot until next turn. And then here we go. More shooting on the Dark Shards. He kills off a bunch more. We're starting to whittle down my unit there. Looking forward to combat. I am not. He kills 5 guys, which I think is pretty good. But he beats me through a whole bunch of combat res. And I managed to break. And he flees. I was not able to do any wounds. Having not got Occams off on them. It was tough. So they run them down, and then he overran quite a lot with these guys. So now this is going to be an easy charge. And these guys are set up into a nice charge to my Dread Spears, or my Dark Shards, inside that building with my level 4. So things aren't looking so good. The combat here brings the Hydra down to 1 wound, but I managed to stick around, which will give me another flank charge on my turn. So the monsters are down to... he has 3 wounds on him, and he's down to 1 wound. My turn, I charge in. These were auto charges. And then finally, I do get Occams off. I put it on my Dread Spears so that these guys are going to wreak havoc. I Pit of Shades the Temple Guard. It goes off irresistibly, killing, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 8 Temple Guard. And I killed his level 4, which was a game changer because he was also his general. But my miscast sucked my hero into the warp, which was unfortunate. And look at the ugly painting job. She deserves to get sucked into the warp. Okay, so combat. Combat goes really well. These are warriors. I'm hitting on like 3s and wounding on 2s, it was really going to go my way. We kill that many. We pop them. Monster, yeah, we pop them too through the combat res. It was great. I managed to do an overrun and just came an inch shy of running into his temple guard. So now I'm pretty concerned that he can get an easy charge on the building and maybe take out my level 4 to kind of even the playing field. But he decides to flank charge my executioners instead, since it was an easier charge. Probably a safer bet, hoping that we can probably swing this combat his favor. I don't know, last turn he was crumbling a whole lot. That's where we lost most of his guys. Let's see if we can do it this turn, if he gets any buffs off. More crumbling, Dark Shards shoot at him, but I think these guys just fail from their crumbling. Down to 3 Dark Shards left in the building. He's almost got that whole unit. Combat, kill 4 Temple Guard and some more warriors. And then I break everyone. They all crumble and I overrun. And this is where the game really swings in my favor. So I managed to pursue. And we move up a little bit. Hydra reforms and charges into those guys. And the Hydra does a movement where he faces the mine entrance. Really always has left is these archers, the archers in the building, and the casket. But since his level 4 is dead, and that's his general, everything else starts to crumble quite easily. The archers just break from combat. The casket is charged by my Hydra. Actually, he overran. But he crumbled before I could get to him. Then my executioners and my dread spears move in to take over the mine entrance. And then my last War Hydra decides to charge into the building with the archers. And this is totally game. This is just insult to injury at this point. But yes, the War Hydra cleaned up all of the remaining archers. They crumble. And it is a devastating win for me. Which was much deserved after playing 2 brutal games against the Dwarf gun line. I felt that this list needed a nice win. My poor opponent, he also was beaten 3 times that day, which really is demoralizing, but he had a lot of fun. He's a good player, and he wasn't playing his regular list. He normally plays Orcs and Goblins. He was borrowing a friend's list, trying out Tomb Kings. Yeah, gotta say, Tomb Kings, I've seen them be really effective. A lot of people brought them to the tournament, and we're doing really well with them. I'm just not sure if the list was working out for him. He had some pretty nasty matchups with my magic, but that's the way a Warhammer works. Thanks for watching, guys.